Hey you guys, my name is Courtney Jay and welcome back to my YouTube channel. You guys have not seen me in a few months, let alone have seen me speak. I typically give you guys vlogs, but we're gonna do something a little bit different today. I used to do talking videos actually, and I would just share whatever lessons I feel like I have been learning, things I've been going through that I feel like a message can be shared to everybody. In August, I started doing YouTube live streams. So if you're wondering why I haven't been posting vlogs or videos, I started putting my energy towards YouTube live streams and I've been having a great time over there. I appreciate all of the people all over the world that have tuned in, that interact with me, and we have a great time over there. I really do appreciate it. So subscribe so you can know when I'm on live in case you ever miss me. If you could tell by the title of this video, then you already know what this is about. I am going to be telling you guys all of the lessons that I have learned in 2024. I did have fun this year, and I also had to go through some trials this year, but it wasn't anything super drastic. I didn't lose anybody this year to death, fortunately, because you know last year I lost 2 people. I've decided to renew my lease where I currently am at, so that was a big commitment thing as well. And everything else I'm going to get into for the rest of the video, so just stay tuned into that. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to stay tuned for more videos from your favorite YouTuber, Courtney Jay. And let's go ahead and get right into the video. And I had to make a whole list so that I wouldn't ramble on and, you know, get caught off guard. So we have a whole list here. We have a whole list, but a lot of these things tie into each other, so I won't have to repeat much. But the main thing, the first thing that 2024 taught me at the age of 22 going into 23, it taught me my worth in relationships, my worth in my career, my worth in myself, how I deserve to be treated, and what I'm worth experiencing. This year, I was still dating. I allowed myself to date this year. And with me dating this year, it really exposed me to what it is that I actually am worth. 2023 was the year where I came across my shadow work. I think that 2024 was, okay, let's put some of the things that you had to come into awareness of during your shadow work phase into now. I learned that I'm worth experiencing luxurious things. I'm worth giving myself opportunities and not waiting for opportunities to be given onto me. I'm worth trusting myself. A lot of these things are important because I didn't grow up trusting myself. I didn't grow up thinking I was worthy of being able to have certain experiences because I wasn't confident in how I looked. I wasn't confident in my capabilities because I wasn't poured into properly to where I felt like, oh, I can do anything I set my mind to, you know? So this year really showed me that, especially with being in the club. If you know, you know, you can watch my channel to, you know. That also taught me my worth as well, very much so. It taught me that I'm worth experiencing an easy life and a life of leisure. I don't have to struggle. I don't have to stress. I'm worth coming across and only desiring to have clientele that don't want to stress me out, and they make things easy. They don't make things difficult. I am worth experiencing friendships and relationships with women that are able to hold themselves accountable when there's disagreements instead of it being Courtney Jay that has to be the main one to hold herself accountable for things, etc. I'm worth that being reciprocated. If I could be accountable for myself, I am worth experiencing accountability from other people as well. And again, I am worth having an easy life of leisure. I don't have to struggle. I don't have to stress. I don't have to deal with somebody treating me a certain way, but then they turn around to the next person and not even give them 5% of the BS they put me through. Heavy on that. And the club definitely taught me that, okay? So in regards to my career, I'm worth honoring my talents and really having to push myself past mental blockages when it comes to my career as a creative and my intentions in being a creative director, being a video model, and wanting to start up certain production shows that I am passionate about. So the second thing that this year taught me, my values in myself and my relationship. Super happy about that. I think that once you're able to really understand what your values are, it does make life a bit easier, because when you go about life and you experience things and you see things that aren't in alignment with you, it helps you to really stand firm in your boundaries, because you can say, this is not in alignment with how my values are, so I don't want to entertain it. I learned that the main thing that I needed to value were my love languages. And my love languages in order: acts of service, quality time, gift giving, words of affirmation, physical touch. And that's just what it is. I value honesty. I value transparency. I value chivalry. I value consistency. And these are all things that I have to value within myself as well. I have to be honest. I have to be transparent. I have to be consistent. I value being there for others and people being there for me. I value respect. I value respect within myself, and I value respect to be given to me from others. The third thing that I've learned this year, my standards in relationships and in life, and that ties into love languages as well. So heavy on that, heavy on the standards. I think 2024 really took the cake. I don't think I need to put myself through any more drama. Just Courtney, just, you know what you don't like and you know what you do like now. Stick to it and don't go against that. Because how many times have we gone against our intuition, our discernment, gone against our boundaries, our standards to fulfill other people's joy, and we still end up with the same outcome by ourselves, cup not fulfilled, feeling like we were taken advantage of. So it's after a while, when you get over your own BS, you start to really have to force yourself to establish your standards and stand on it 10 toes. Oh, it's 111. And I'm actually very happy that I have my standards now and I understand them more now and I can implement them. And a real main standard that I have to have for myself, well, I guess it's more like a boundary, but either way, to not feel guilty for my standards. And to not feel like my standards are out of reach or delulu. It might seem out of reach and delulu to people that feel like they can't obtain it, but then that's what's been projected onto me to where I subconsciously feel like I can't obtain it. And then I end up settling for treatment that I don't want. I end up not pushing myself the way I need to push myself when it comes to my talents and my passions. Once I've came into awareness, there's a standard that I desire to have in all aspects of my life and I can really act on it, I think that the rest of my life will reflect more of higher quality things. sometimes you really just have to sit and realize when you've done things the same way and the outcomes have still been the same, it's like, okay, maybe it's actually not going to be too bad for me to actually stand on high standards. We shouldn't want to do anything career-wise, relationship-wise, whatever, that's not going to fill up our cup anyway. We shouldn't want to deal with people that don't generally care to exceed our standards, you know? The fourth thing 2024 taught me, noticing manipulation that others project and how to move around it. So again, if you know, then you know how I started out in regards to me living on my own. Again, you can watch my YouTube videos and follow my journey in regards to that. The club, especially in Atlanta, has taught me so much about how people manipulate, okay? And my favorite YouTuber, Sprinkle Sprinkle, if you know, you know, also put me on game in regards to that. And I've read a lot of books, but I haven't read enough books about manipulation. So at the end of the day, unless a guy's genuine character, like genuine character, unless he has the genuine character to really appreciate you as a friend or lover, to really value you as his friend or lover, or whatever the case may be, you won't have to do much manipulation tactics on people that show up for you. But men that feel like they have to manipulate, you'll know because they'll only come around when it's beneficial for them. They'll invalidate you, or they'll use emotional manipulation and they will validate you and they'll do all these things, but then they'll turn around and be inconsistent. So then you hold on to them because you feel like you have to, based off of their inconsistency. And that's a deep-rooted thing. I got exposed to that this year, for sure. And how to move around it, you can either manipulate them back or simply just not give them the time of day. You don't owe anyone that manipulates you any type of energy. But I can make a separate video in regards to manipulation and whatnot, and how to use it to your advantage too, you know. The fifth thing that I have learned this year, I had to become aware of my lack of motivation being a creative and trusting my capabilities, especially the past 6 months, the past few weeks, this month. I had to sit with myself recently and really ask myself, why do I go through these periods where I'm just not motivated? It's like really heavy with my YouTube. It was very easy for me to remain consistent and motivated when it came to my dance training. When I came to Atlanta, I set that intention. But for some reason outside of that, I struggle with consistency with my YouTube. It's like I self-sabotage myself, and I don't know if it's because it's like I'm not doing any hard work and I've been trained to think that I have to do hard work to be successful. But it's like, it's not necessarily hard work, it's more so just putting in the efforts and pushing through uncomfortable things. But if it's your passion, then it's easy, you know. I don't do YouTube for money and stuff like that. You know, I've been doing this since I was 17. I just have a hard time really trusting myself with this, and I've had to sit and really deal with it and understand it so that I can get through that mental block if I'm being transparent. And I pray that this year can be the last year that I put myself through not being motivated with this, not being motivated to do my modeling, especially with being in the club too. Is like I can't let the club, even if it's slow, impact my motivation to do other things, to where my energy is drained and I don't feel energized to get up out of my bed. I don't feel energized to put my money towards here because I have to put my money towards here. And then being 23, I still want to go out and live my life and enjoy my life. But then at the same time, especially in Atlanta, you have to be very intentional on where you go depending on the type of life you desire for yourself, you know? And it's like, having to just have balance. Overall, everything just ties into balance. If I'm pouring more into the club, it's taking away class in this. Also know that I can't take too much time into those other things because I still have bills and stuff to pay until those other things pay my bills or someone else does. But that was a joke, kind of. But no, for real. In regards to myself, is like overall, I have to have balance with being a creative, being in the club, and still living my life and enjoying my life. Because I do not desire to allow the illusion of inflation, the illusion of time, and the illusion of lack and things like that to stop me from enjoying and living my life. You still have to live your life no matter what. I went through a period where I saved $10,000 3 times. 3 times. And every time I saved it, something would happen to my car. And then the club wants to randomly be slow all of a sudden. And then now I'm not motivated. I'm stressed. And then I always have to start back at square one. It's like a self-sabotaging cycle. And with that, it's like, okay, I put in the work to save the $10,000. I committed my time to the club. And I still had to start over. So that's really why I decided that I'm just going to live my life. I have to. But maturing is realizing that with everything, you need balance. And I think that if I have balance, I will trust myself more, for sure. And also telling myself that for me being a creative, it's not impossible. If there's people that literally have finessed their way to the top without really having to do anything, by me knowing that I have passions, why should I feel like I'm not going to be successful with my passions, you know? And another thing I learned is whatever you desire for yourself, it's not out of reach. It wouldn't have been created in this realm if it wasn't meant for you to experience it, obtain it, have it, desire it, whatever. It's been placed in this realm for a reason. You have these desires and passions for a reason. The 6th thing I've learned this year was more objectiveness and getting through subjectiveness. So there's another video where I talked about this book. It's called The Untethered Soul. And that's where I first became aware of being objective and being subjective, which being objective basically means that there is no meaning. You're not putting any meaning to things. Like this phone. You're not going to say, oh, that phone is ugly, I don't like the color blue, so that's why I don't like the phone. But instead, objectively, you just be like, oh, it's just a phone. When situations happen, you don't put any meaning to the situation. You choose to not put stories onto it. You choose to not add opinions. You choose to just accept something, people, for what it is and what is there and leave it at that without any extra energy to put a story or meaning onto it, which is subjectiveness. And a lot of times with the subjectiveness, that is from a subconscious thing. So you have to really factor in yourself why you feel like you have to put certain meanings to certain situations into certain things. A lot of times it's a self thing. And there's been situations this year where that really had to come into play when it came to certain disagreements and things like that. And I've accepted that yes, I'm young, but I have a certain level of awareness to where I do see things outside of how some people might see things. If I have to be viewed as someone that's like stuck up in my own ways or whatever the case may be, someone that doesn't do what I preach or however it's projected onto me, I will take those titles from other people, but it's still not going to change the fact that I'm going to honor my perspective, your perspective, and honor the outcome. It's either we agree or we disagree. And we're going to move on to the next because there's no point in holding on to things that don't matter. A lot of letting go. The seventh thing I've learned this year is honoring myself while validating others at the same time. So that really just goes into what I basically just said, especially with disagreements. It's like I noticed that a pattern that I've experienced is there will be a disagreement and I'll share something and then it'll always be turned on me to be the person that's like, well, you're not holding yourself accountable. You're not compromising. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. Courtney should do this. Courtney should do that. But in the midst of all of that, the other party is not allowing themselves to hold themselves accountable for things either. But they want me to be the person to do it. So in those situations, I've learned I'm just going to honor how I feel, accept the fact that this situation is stupid, or if the situation is not stupid, okay, let's get through the situation, but I'm not about to stress out on an agreed to disagree basis. I'm going to validate myself 100%, and I'm going to respect you 100%. But there's no reason for unnecessary back and forths. And I no longer allow myself to take on other people's projections either. Because if I know that I can leave the situation not projecting anything onto the other person and really allowing myself to accept that person for what is without putting any extra energy onto it, like really practicing being objective. If I know that that's where I am in my life and that's the journey that I'm on, I can't get upset or feel some type of way about how somebody else is being or how they're thinking or whatever the case may be. I'm on my own journey so that I could be better and healthier for myself. The eighth thing that I've learned this year is honoring the life I know I desire to live and not manipulating myself into not believing it to be true. So that goes into what I said earlier. Basically, whatever it is that you desire in your life, no matter how extravagant, how spontaneous, how expensive, or how random, whatever the case may be, if you desire it, you desire it for a reason. And don't let anybody stop you from living the life that you desire. If you look up to people that live a life that you desire, there's a reason for that. Accept it and don't stop yourself from going for things, and also while trusting the process at the same time. Especially with being in the entertainment industry, modeling and stuff like that, there's a whole bunch of people that are doing the same thing. But whatever opportunities are meant for you specifically, they're going to be for you. And the final thing that 2024 has taught me at 23 is taking baby steps and putting things in action for each avenue. Heavy on that. And that just goes into just trying really hard to just not stress yourself out. Especially in this era, a lot of things are different. There's the inflations and like all that extra stuff. At the end of the day, you still have to live your life. No matter who's in office, no matter what's going on, you have to live your life. There's people that flourish and have not stopped flourishing, no matter who's in office and no matter what's going on. And no, not all of those people are millionaires. There's people that are not millionaires that live their life and do what they desire to do, travel the world every day. So once you are able to think from an abundant mindset, you can take the necessary baby steps that are needed, applaud yourself for that, and just go on from there. And not try to do everything all at one time too. Especially as young people, we have to focus on what we can do in each present moment. For me, for example, if one day I'm not going to the club, right, I can choose to put my intention on doing something creatively, or I can choose to go out somewhere that would actually be in alignment with where I want to be, or I can use it to rest if I need to rest. and really just doing things day by day, moment by moment, and not stressing myself out, because either way things always get paid. And I get that mentality from my family. Like, no matter what happens, things are still going to get paid. I'm still going to have a roof over my head, and I'm going to still make sure that me and my dog are straight. Overall, I'm very appreciative for 2024. I think it has helped me to really just become more of a woman and saying no, not being afraid to say no, saying no to myself, saying no to others, and accepting that there's something mentally blocking me from wanting to succeed, and dealing with that, because the inner core of my being and your being doesn't know what suffering is and doesn't want us to not live a happy, fruitful life. And so it is, and it is done. If you stayed until the end of this video, I appreciate you so much. I pray that I didn't talk your ear off too much. If there's anything in this video that you feel like resonated with you, please feel free to share that and let me know. That will make my day. This is a community here on the Casually Me side. I appreciate you guys so much. I love you guys so much. I pray that you guys have an amazing day, evening, afternoon, whatever time you are watching this. And until next time, my lovelies, bye.